understand the two individuals that are sitting in front of me right now. So as we get this show going, you already know who this is. This is Jabari K. Smith, and you are listening to The Professional Athlete. And today I have with me Adam and Amanda Barr with Raise the Bar Financial Group. What's going on, y'all?
Hey, thank you for having us on the show today.
Definitely. All right, we're going to get right into it because, I'm sitting in front of two elite athletes, and I'm sitting in front of two elite entrepreneurs. So we're going to talk a little about business, we're going to talk about sports, but most importantly, we're going to talk about life. So share with me, Adam, a little bit about your background. Israel, right?
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah, I grew up in the Holy Land in a little tiny village in Israel.
Yes.
Very humble beginning.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about that because I want to know your journey. How did you get over here to America?
So I grew up in a very tough neighborhood in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Small place. You can kind of see the end of the country if you stand in a rooftop of a 10-story building.
Wow.
Very, very small. And I grew up very religious.
Mm-hmm.
My father became religious when I was about 8 years old.
Okay.
And put me in a religious school. And kind of rebelled a little bit.
Right. Like we all do.
Yeah, right. And but I wanted to keep focused. So I had a mentor who taught me a little bit about bodybuilding. Mm. I wanted to get to it to overcome some of the bullying that I went through in school and kind of caught the bug of exercising and bodybuilding.
Got you. So you mentioned bodybuilding. So it was your mentor that introduced you to it, or that you was like, bodybuilding is my outlet?
Bodybuilding was my outlet, mm-hmm. but I didn't know that at the time. So I just, was finding ways to work out and exercise with push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, right. Things that were available to me at the time. And then later on, I found a mentor who was Mr. Europe at the time. And
wow.
That's what started me in the professional route. Yeah.
What's the chances of you being introduced to Mr. Europe?
That was a crazy situation because I couldn't afford going to a gym.
Right.
And so I bartered with the gym owner at the time that if he would let me pick up the weights at the end of the day and mm-hmm. clean out the place.
Right.
In turn, if he would let me work out there.
Wow. So you were already working deals.
Yeah, I was already working deals, right? Hustling, right? And so he agreed to that. Yeah. He said, I said to him, I have a dream. I wanted to be the number one professional bodybuilder in Israel. And I was maybe 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
And one day I work out and I see this guy who had massive quads doing the squats, I think with like almost 800 pounds.
Wow.
And I'm looking at this guy and everybody's, around them. Yeah. This was at a time where this was still a little bit underground. This is like we're talking about over 20-something years ago, right?
Right.
And I'm looking at this guy and I say, I want to be like this guy when I was 18, 19 years old. And so everybody was laughing, but I got an introduction to him, and he invited me to have a conversation. He said, you have some good genetics, and I think if you have the right guidance, you could be something special.
Wow! So you two hit it off right off the bat?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. So I wonder what is it that you said to him that impressed him, for him to take you under his wing? Do you remember how that conversation went?
I do remember. I said, I'm the kind of person that if I'm going to commit to something, I'm going to go and give it my all and go all the way. And I will be the youngest Mr. Israel in history. Wow. And I would like for you to train me and coach me.
Yeah, I think I would have said yes too. I'd have been like, meet me here at 5 in the morning. You know how you get to those.
And that's exactly.
It's exactly.
It's almost like Rocky Balboa.
Absolutely,
movie. That's exactly what happened.
Wow. So bodybuilding Israel was, when you said that was underground at the time, what was the most popular sport in Israel at the time?
Basketball actually is very popular in Israel. As you know, they won the European Championship a number of times.
Right.
and soccer is really the main sport in Israel.
Wow. And you chose bodybuilding
and then hummus and shawarma.
Wait, what is that? Wait, hold on. Say that slower. What is that?
It's food. It's like it's actual Mediterranean food.
Oh, okay,
So
got you.
yeah.
I was like, what is this?
Eating hummus and
Eating
shawarma.
hummus and shawarma. Okay, got
It's
you.
meat and chickpeas food.
Awesome. So you said you wanted to be the the youngest and the number one bodybuilder in Israel. Did that happen?
Yes. So the first time that I tried it, I was 16 years old, and that didn't happen. I actually won the 4th place in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
It was really dealing with giants of the industry at the time, and I was this little 16-year-old, like all scared and anxious, and with the coaching and mentorship of that guy, I placed 4th.
Okay.
And that was kind of the fuel to say, okay, great. Now I know exactly what it is to be on stage. I know exactly what conditioning is. I know exactly what disciplines I have to adapt. And then I took that back. That wasn't a failure that I said, okay, that's it, I'm done.
Right.
But I took that and I kind of hid myself for about 3 years and worked out without nobody knowing. I didn't show myself to anybody. Was wearing all baggy clothes so people wouldn't know. And I came back at 19 years old and I took the overall competition.
Wow.
And, I got pictures at the time at Flex magazines, and I got sponsorships from Europe. I was the first Israeli ever to get sponsorship from Europe.
Wow. I can imagine that. Like I said, because I know I've been knowing you for a while, so I know your personality. I can see you just hiding everything. Right. Like, just wait. I'm going to show them. I'm covering everything up. You get to the competition, it's just like, bam, bam, like, oh my goodness. What has this guy been doing?
Yeah,
Was it kind of like that?
That's exactly how it happened. Actually, I got laughed at, because, when you do the conditioning, when you do depletion, when you actually... You go from off season where you get really big into dieting, and actually it looks like when you wear clothes you don't look so big, right compared to the others, right? But you're absolutely at about 4% body fat. It's like the skin is so tight you can see everything underneath. And
can you take me through the preparation of that? Like I said, I'm not too familiar with bodybuilding, but I know it takes a lot.
Sure. So it's waking up in the morning early, doing cardio, eating about 7 meals a day. It all has to be weighted, and the proportion and the ratios between carbohydrates to protein to good fats has to be perfect every day.
Wow.
And then you have to learn how to trick the body. It's very, very scientific. You really have to know not only the general stuff, but how your body responds to conditioning and to different changes, even minor changes.
Wow.
And so, I used to eat probably about 24 to 36 eggs a day.
Whoa.
2 chickens.
Hold on, man. How was that grocery bill? Who was paying for this, man?
My mom was she actually... we didn't have money. She got into debt to help me. She saw how passionate I was about this and how committed.
Right.
And it took us years and years to pay it off later. But we were all running towards it together, and it was her support that really made it happen.
Wow. That's amazing. So you were literally the scientist and the lab rat.
Right. I was the scientist, the lab rat. It's everybody kind of pulled their resources and mentorship. Even my trainer was whenever I didn't have protein, he was like, hey, here's a can of tuna. Hey, let me invite you to a...
Right. Absolutely. So. Well, listen, I'm gonna get a little bit more into your bodybuilding career, but let me introduce Amanda. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
So here goes the other secret. Amanda was also an athlete. Share with us a little bit about your background in the sport you played as well.
So my background is I grew up in Oklahoma, and most people obviously think of Oklahoma as being the country, and it is. I actually took Adam there, and he was like, well, this is the country.
This is the country. Absolutely.
Really the country.
Absolutely.
But I grew up actually traveling all over the United States. My stepfather had a position where we were traveling every other few months. So one thing that kind of was a thread through all of our travels was we had horses, and we would either have a place where we were going that had horses, or we had horses back home. And I was riding at a very young age. I think the first picture of me was probably that I remember was on a horse.
Wow.
Other than like when I was a baby.
Wow.
And when I got into college, I actually played basketball throughout high school. But when I went to college, those girls were big. They were strong,
Absolutely.
and I was not prepared. My coach said, you need to probably go into academics. That's what he told me. And so, but what was exciting was when I was at college, somebody was making fun of there being a polo team at our school, because we're in the country. I went to Oklahoma State University. Go Pokes.
Oh my
gosh.
A little Big 12 rivalry here.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I told you to hide it from me.
You can. Hey, don't worry. When I was there, we split the difference. Y'all won the first game. We won the second year. It's all good.
So when we were, when I was at school, somebody was making fun of there being a polo team. I said, I'm sorry, what did you say? There's a polo team? So I looked him up. I said, how do I get on the team? And I called him up, and they said, get your boots on and come out and get on a horse. So that afternoon, I got my boots, ran out of the house, and I was on a horse that afternoon. And they said, well, you got some skill. I said, but I don't know the game.
Right.
I don't know anything about this, and you're going to start your season in a month.
Wow.
And so in 1 month I learned the game. I was riding every day, and I actually started on the team that year that I joined.
Wow. Do you think what gave you an advantage is because, like you said, I mean, you were riding horses probably as early as 3 or 4? Is that what kind of, you didn't have to learn how to ride a horse, you just had to learn the game?
The only thing I had to do was learn how to play the game and how to do it right, because it's a dangerous sport. You have 8 horses. We played 4-on-4, so you had 8 horses, and you would ride your horses what they call chuckers, not like a quarter or anything. They were called chuckers. So we would play for a chucker, and then you would switch and you'd ride the other team's horses. So you actually, because it was college, and we didn't have enough ponies.
Gotcha.
When you get to the professional level, those guys have a good fleet of their own horses that they're riding. But at the college level, you actually switched horses. So you have to actually be quite the horseman to be able to switch horses throughout the game and ride horses you've never been on before, ever.
Wow.
And play.
Wow.
So it was quite the experience. I think that I'm forever thankful for the opportunity and to be able to walk away going, yeah, I played that crazy sport.
Definitely. So playing polo, because you started late, I mean, started in college, did you adapt a passion for it, or was this something that was just fun? What was your take on it?
I was very passionate about, especially during playing. I think we were playing almost every weekend. We were traveling all over the Big 12 to play in tournaments. So, yeah, I have a passion now today. I've been down to the fields in our area. They have a few, San Diego, Carpinteria, Will Rogers close to us. There are professionals playing, and I always think, maybe I'll pick it back up again.
Yeah, right.
But, life takes over and you have a business, and that's important. And taking care of horses is, my mom's like, I'll send you our last one. I said, what am I going to do? Tie her up to the tree?
Right. Like, we're in the city, Mom. We're not in the country. We're in the city.
We'll park him in Beverly Hills, right over there. Right next to Bijan Yellow Car.
No, right in front of the Polo store.
Exactly. Right.
Absolutely.
Be like, how'd you get to work today? I rode.
So, man, polo and bodybuilding, like, this is so interesting because, like, I thought that I was diverse in sports because I played a little bit of lacrosse, just recreation, basketball, football, track, and some baseball. But I mean, like, bodybuilding. I mean, football players have to lift weights, but bodybuilding, I wasn't eating 32 eggs, man. And horseback riding, like, I actually rode horses at the school I was in, but I rode Western. So it's totally different. And I wasn't going nowhere near as fast as you were. So my question for you with the riding, and you having a basketball background, were there other people on your team that had other athletic backgrounds, or all of them were like lifetime horse riders?
They had different backgrounds. I know that a good portion of them grew up riding horses, and actually, like, I rode Western, I rode English, I rode all different, even bareback. I didn't care.
I'm scared of bareback. Yeah, definitely.
So, you sit there and go, it didn't matter if you had a passion. I think that's one thing that really sticks out. If you have a passion about something and you really want to learn it, you're going to do everything you need to get it down and to get the rules in and make sure you can play. Absolutely. And to get on that field, because that's the most important part. I know most athletes, you're going to put that time and effort. You don't want to sit on the bench.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think gave you an edge to be as competitive?
Probably the time and effort. I was probably out there in the field riding those horses more than anybody else on that team. I mean, there was a good portion, but I think I stuck in the extra hours. And you have this what's called a mallet, which is like a pole you would swing to hit the ball, and I would just go down the field and hit the ball and run the horses, and you sit there and go, it's just time and effort.
Absolutely. Who
Who puts in most time and effort are the ones that
winners.
I know Adam is a testament to that with his bodybuilding. He was there when nobody else was there, and this has been his lifelong thing. He is up late at night doing his passions, putting in the time and effort.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think gave both of you that motor? I mean, where did that come from?
Go ahead.
So, someone told me once, whenever you want to accomplish something, is be the first one to show up and be the last one to leave.
Absolutely.
And it kind of goes in line with when you really want something, you commit to it, you have the vision on how you want to accomplish it, and then you just go for it with never giving up. Relentless activity and action, and just following through.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, especially in the world of sports, and we talk about never giving up, overcoming adversity, discipline, and all of those things. Let's dive into, because once we get to a higher level, no one's going to push you. You have to push yourself, right? And that's really what separates the winners from the losers. So, like, what kept you focused to do that? Because it is easy to say, I don't want to use the term quitting, but saying I'm taking a break, and then now the person that's coming for your spot has just surpassed you a ton of times. What were some of the tools that both of you used to keep your edge?
I think most of all was that, you look at in the business world, you look in the athletic world, and your biggest proponent against you is really yourself. It's the way you think about yourself, the mental game. It's more than just a sport. It's what you think, how you believe in yourself. Do you see yourself accomplishing it? Yeah. And that personal drive to say, I can do better. I want to get this, and I'm going to keep going until I get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How about you?
Yeah, in bodybuilding, you have a mirror, right? The way that you really track your results, if you will, is you don't compare yourself to somebody else when you do the posing and when you're really looking at to see whether there are significant changes. In the business world, is a little bit different, right? But it's really the same in a sense where you want to be the best version of yourself. The surrounding is just a measurement to see, like, how am I compared to other people? And, if I want to take it to the next level, I have to elevate myself or raise the bar beyond my current situation. And every adversity, everything that doesn't seem like it is good, it's not in a judgment of whether it's good or bad. It's how can I get better? How do I learn from this? And really, from every challenge and every what some might perceive loss or challenge, we look at it as like, great, that's a phenomenal lesson for me. Here's what I'm learning from this. Here's how I'm going to take it to the next level, and being relentless about not giving up.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, athletics is so competitive. Share with me some of you guys' biggest challenges that you had to face as athletes.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I think that Adam and I like to always say is challenges are just growth opportunities.
Okay.
So we like to put a fun twist on it. And in terms of like the growth opportunities in athletics, I think one is really I lost a lot of weight. This is one thing that I went through, and you sit there and go, that took time and effort. And I think sometimes looking at the things that you want in life, it's not going to happen right away. It's not an elevator to the top.
Absolutely.
It's running the marathon. It's really seeing that what I want, it may take longer than what I expect, but if I keep at it, I'm going to get there.
Absolutely. I totally agree. What about you?
Yeah, well, I have a couple of those, but to go with what Amanda was sharing about challenges or opportunities, right? I like to think of it as almost like being a flag into the gold mine. This is the challenge is a flag to a gold mine. That now it's actually revealing itself to me that there's a gold mine there, right?
Okay.
And so I run towards it now. Where before I used to, no, adversity, right? You might hesitate, right?
Right.
Now I look for bigger problems because I know there's bigger opportunities there. Right?
That's interesting. What made you mentally shift? Like, everyone faces fear, because it seems like whenever you see a challenge, that's the fear kicks in, right?
Sure.
So when some people, I wouldn't say everyone runs away from it, but some people may tiptoe and be like, I got to find a way to go around it, and you just go straight for it.
Yes.
How did you shift your mentality to think that way?
Well, and it's gonna answer your previous question as well. So I had in 2004, I was playing basketball. I was actually coaching, and I filled in for one of my students in a school in Brooklyn, New York. Mm-hmm. And we're playing the game, I'm filling in, and then all of a sudden I got elbowed right in my voice box, my throat, and ended up waking up in a hospital, had tubes in my throat and my stomach, and I couldn't speak. I just literally couldn't function for a while, but I couldn't speak or produce voice for over a year, let alone working out. Mm-hmm. And when you have something like that as an athlete and as a performer that I did in New York, your whole life seems to be over, right? And it's a very devastating thing for someone whose the entire life and career is based on the fundamentals of them being able to
absolutely
to do those things.
Trust
right?
me, yes, I understand that.
And that's really one of the reasons why I came to America, to really pursue my dreams here. And so, what do you do at that point, right? And so, it's not taken away from the fact that it was a tough thing, but that was a beginning of a transformation for me, where I really started looking at, okay, what is the hidden gems or messages that I can learn from this opportunity, from this challenge. And and it takes time until really you come to this maturation and the process that we all have to go through. But I ended up here in Los Angeles because I needed to have additional surgeries. I had a few in New York, and I needed to have additional surgeries in UCLA. And I came here with no money at all. Like, I came with nothing and had to start everything from scratch again.
And this is after you were already top-notch bodybuilder.
This is after I was top-notch bodybuilder.
Wow.
This is after I performed in New York.
Wow.
and had successful businesses. This is in 2004. And so at the time you think, why me? Why did it happen to me? Unfair, right? All of those things that it goes through our mind, right? We're all human. We're all going to go through the process. What we make it mean is what's important. So all of a sudden I started seeing things a little bit differently, and I said, what if God or the universe is showing me trying to show me something, or tapping me on the shoulder and telling me, hey, your talent and skills, even though you try to focus in a different area, but maybe you can do something more extraordinary for other people in a different area.
Okay.
And so I started pursuing that more and more. That's kind of how I got to the financial industry. And then today, fast forward, right? I'm married to a beautiful woman.
All right.
I
Absolutely.
run a successful firm in Beverly Hills.
Right.
I have a book that is coming out.
That's
I have
right.
a tech company that is going to revolutionize the benefit industry. And so you look at it and you say, what if my challenge didn't happen to me? So would I be still pursuing fitness and bodybuilding? would that have enabled me to do the things that I was able to do if I just resisted it, right?
Right.
And so that taught me that, we can look at what's happening to us as a challenge, or we can look at it and try to figure out what's the subliminal messages that life is trying to communicate with us moving forward. Because it's easy to do it moving backwards, right? Or looking backwards.
Right. No, hold on. Let me take a pause on that. Hold on. Like this is what I'm talking about. I mean, this is what the show is about, transitioning, and it's interesting because your transition was at a different period of your life. Like I give you an example. My transition was literally once I was done playing football. It's like, hey, I need to go into the real world and figure it out. You had already reached success. You already made another career transition. You're an entrepreneur, but now you have an injury, and so your struggle, your battle is from a different perspective. It's like, oh, I wasn't expecting this, but I need to go through this to take me to the next level. That's interesting. How was your transition?
Well, I think it's interesting, and I'll share, because I think the idea that living with things and going through adversity is something to be said, and a lot of people go through a lot of adversity, and a lot of time they don't talk about it or share. But I'm going to share. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I have been since I was 2 years old. And if you look at life and how you go through it, there are sucky days.
Right.
Just like in sports, there are losses, and you go, that sucked. I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done this. And I've had it for 30 years, and Adam can attest, I still get frustrated when it's out of range, so to speak, and it's not normal. But I think that when you look at the transition and how you move about with those things you're working with, like I live with diabetes, and it goes with me everywhere, but I don't let that define my life. Right. Sports has been a passion of mine, and actually I've taken sports into our career because I love it so much, and I love people and the passion behind it. And there's still a love for the college sport as well as the professional, Olympic, all of it. Right. So now we get blessed with the opportunity to work with athletes. So I don't think I ever hung the the athlete. Right. I never hung my jersey up.
Absolutely.
I just transitioned it to how can I still be a part? How can I still touch, move, inspire, and touch others and help them to be able to have a life that they enjoy and love for many years.
Wow. I totally understand where you're coming from. Like it's interesting, and I don't want to sound too cliche, but it's like it seems like everyone has battles and struggles, right? Mm-hmm. And it seems like the moment we identify what it is and we accept the challenge as an opportunity is when our lives transcend. Like you had this battle for all your life, but I'm telling you, you're a rock star. You do whatever you want when you want to do it.
You bet.
When other people would make excuses and just settle for whatever. I mean, you coming from humble beginnings and you just taking a chance, giving yourself to an older gentleman saying, hey, I want to be under your ring. Take me on. I'll do whatever I have to do. And now look at you. Like, these are the things that athletes need to understand. These are transferable principles. Like the things that drove us into sports, that same mentality is the reason why you're sitting here today and you're highly successful. And that's what these young athletes need to understand in life, especially not even young ones, even adults that still haven't figured out. I had conversations with friends who are my age, 35, 36, and it's just like they're going through life. It's like, hey, we need to get on board. You have what it takes to be a CEO. You can run whatever you want. You getting up at 5 a.m. to go run and lift weights or to go work on your craft, shoot 500 baskets, that's the same thing it takes to run a business. So that's why I feel so honored to have you here on my show. So this is going to help me actually segue to the next phase, the entrepreneurial life. So like I said, Raise the Bar Financial Group. Tell me about that. First of all, how did you get into the financial industry? You know, I was in the financial industry. Yeah. It's an interesting industry. So how'd you get into it?
You learn a lot from it.
You learn a lot.
I was, when I got injured, I didn't have health insurance. Mm-hmm. And so I went from owning a whole bunch of businesses over the East Coast and losing everything just because I didn't prepare to have this types of injury. You know, you're buff, you're young, you think nothing, you think you're invincible, nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to change. And then it happens, right?
Happens, yep.
And so 11 surgeries to pay for most of it out of pocket costs a lot of money.
Whoa.
And so I came to LA to continue the surgeries, and I ended up like having literally no money. And I took a job at a retail shop in Beverly Hills, and I had a client. His name is Antoine, and he was really a wonderful, wonderful guy who bought an expensive watch for me. And, you know, he was really friendly and you know, had great interpersonal relationship. You know, he was just really warm. And I said, hey, you know, Mr. Turner, would you mind me asking, like, what do you do for a living? Mm. And he goes, I'm in the financial services industry. And I said, you know, I've been reading this book, Think and Grow Rich, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And, you know, I'm so eager to learn more about this industry, and I think that so many people don't know what the possibilities are, and I would love to be a part of it, and I don't know how and where and what to do and where to even start. Right. And he said, you know, that's interesting. I've been in the industry for a little while. If you want, come over. We have a workshop, in I think it was like a few weeks afterwards, and just see what we do, see if you like it. If that's what you like, I don't mind like showing you how the ropes. Mm. And I did. I came and I saw all of those young people and all of those like driven, motivated individual, you know, high energy in the room. And I remember this gentleman said at the time, he said, you know, everybody's wearing their pants in the morning the same way. And there's no reason why this person should make $50,000 a month and this person should make $50,000 a year, because we all have the same opportunities. And it just resonated with me. And, you know, but more so, I saw the difference that it could make for other people in other people's lives. And I started part-time while working full-time as a sales manager at that boutique, and you know, very quickly saw that I could make a huge impact and also do well by doing good for other people, even on a part-time basis. And I said, you know, what it would be like if I took it on as a full career, and really invested the time and efforts to learn it the right way. And I ended up with a Fortune 100 company, and climbed the ladder there to be a top advisor. And then, you know, last couple of years, I was the top national partner at the firm. Right. So it's cool.
Wow. Amanda, how about your transition? How did you get involved?
So I came out of school actually with a degree in marketing. Okay. And you have these thoughts after college that you're going to be this director and you're going to have a team. And I thought I'd be, writing slogans for Nike. Not the case when you hit the real world. Right. Had to climb my way out. And I was in the marketing field, and I felt like there wasn't any passion behind what I did. There wasn't a purpose. I wasn't making a difference in the world. So actually, I went back to school a couple years after being in marketing and got a teaching credential. And I was actually licensed to teach kindergarten through 8th grade, but I put my application into a school, and they said, can you teach algebra and geometry? And I was thinking, I took that in high school. Yes, I can.
Oh, okay.
So
they would have asked me, I'm like, I don't know. Like, can I get taught before I teach again?
No, but it was a great experience. I actually taught high school for 3 years, and it was probably the best prep ground for what we do today. Right. And it really showed me, too, that it's not about what I'm doing or it's not about me. It's really about those kids. What are they learning? What are they doing? And I think, and being on the stage, I mean, being a teacher is tough work. It's people think, oh, well, they get the summers off and they get all these holidays, but you're working 80 hours a week, and you have to be on every day. Yep. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You feel bad, too bad. You're in the front of the classroom. So it was great. And so before I met Adam, you make crackers as a teacher. Mm-hmm. Not much money in it. Right. They don't pay what you should be paid. Absolutely. So I was looking at what else could I do, and I actually got into the financial industry before I met Adam. Okay. And thought I would try it out, and it was a company that did not train or get me prepared, and I didn't feel comfortable. So I actually said, I'm not too sure about that. I feel like I'm a teacher. I should be able to say what I do and
Right.
do what I say. And so when I met Adam and he was in the industry, we decided that at one point he was doing so well and he's like, I need help. Come be a part of this team.
Yeah.
And I thought, how fun would that be? We could work together. I think it sped up our relationship because now we've been together like twice as long as what some people would seem because we're working together, we live together, we play together, we give back together, and we have a lot of fun in doing it. But yeah, it's been quite the growth opportunity, and now with our own firm, we did well at the other location, and now this is our baby, Raise the Bar Financial Group, and now we're able to really build something that we have passion and purpose and really giving back to people and doing good, like he said, by helping them.
Absolutely. I totally agree with what you're saying there. So when it comes to the financial market, especially dealing with athletes, what are some of the things that you're seeing? Because you're working with athletes. What are some of the mistakes that you're seeing these athletes make financially?
Well, I think one thing is, if you're looking at some of the top players, usually there's a signing bonus, there's money coming in, and a lot of time it's looking at not today, it's looking at tomorrow, looking at what would life be like after I'm done, and what happens if I get injured while I'm in this. And I'm planning on, because I'm young, like Adam said, I'm young, I'm buff, and I'm going to be able to last. I'm invincible. So I think it's just looking at it's not that anybody does anything right or wrong. I think it's just a matter of what do you know. It's education and having the right people around you. A lot of athletes out there, thank God, have good advisors, and some may have ones that maybe aren't giving the best advice. Mm-hmm. It just depends on the situation. And you have athletes at all different levels.
Right.
You have some that are in the minor leagues. You have some professionals. You have Olympic athletes. It's all different. So it's really looking at their situation and saying, where are you at? Mm-hmm. Where do you want to be? How do we make sure to ensure what your lifestyle is today, that's going to be what you're going to have
Absolutely.
after your sport?
Absolutely. Now, you both being ex-athletes, do you think that it's, I don't want to use the word easier, but a better segue to make those connections with athletes because you understand where they're coming from? It's almost like you said, teaching, right? I mentor that young man that's sitting across, right? So if I tell him something, it's hard for him to question it because I'm like, hey, listen, I've been where you're trying to go. Like I'm not just blowing hot smoke. So like, do you kind of use that same like life experience? Like I understand where you're coming from. That's why I'm here to help.
Yeah, there's definitely common denominators between, people who have either affinities to it or been around and have done it for most of their life and they're passionate about it and they know what that dedication to, something important is, right? But I think at the end of the day is really caring about people and supporting their vision and really helping them, right, reverse engineer what they want to accomplish, right? And understanding what it is, that goal that they might have, right? Because in sports, they have a very specific and defined goal. Right. But when they get out, sometimes it could be very confusing. Right. It's like, what am I doing now? And I have this saying that I share with my the people that I work with is when we aim at nothing, we hit it with great accuracy. Absolutely. And so we just help them clarify what it is that they want and then find the best, the most efficient, the most optimal way for them to accomplish this. Right. And again, reverse engineering it.
Absolutely. I mean, something that I observed when I was in the industry, there's advisors and people that's willing to help everywhere. The problem is it's the athletes, it's the culture. One, having enough knowledge to even know what questions to ask or who to go find. Two, having enough courage and faith to trust someone else with your financial future. But like I said, it takes education to understand that. So like there needs to be more people like yourselves, spreading the word saying, hey, I'm doing this to help because I understand. And people need to get behind it so that it's something normal. I think that was the issue. I was talking to a lot of friends that were in the league and playing. It's not even normal. It's almost like having a conversation about losing your virginity or something. Like it shouldn't be an awkward conversation, man. Like it should be an open conversation.
Money is what we found through this journey is money is a very intimate thing. Like people don't want to talk about it. They're not open to it sometimes, right? And sometimes it's like you said, it's because there is a certain relationship that we develop with money, whether it came from home, we learned from. It's not things that we learn in school, and this is why how my book came out, raising the bar, and the financial powerhouse program that it's going to be starting through the book. It's because I had the honor to work with underserved kids in schools all over LA with a nonprofit that I was involved with at the time, and I just saw how the light bulb had turned on with kids who we taught them very basic information that here's how you balance a check. Right. Here's what credit card is. Here's how it works. Here's what you should stay away from. Here's how investments work. Here's our fees. Here's what to avoid, right? Here's what you want, compound interest, right?
Right.
So stuff that, we gave them examples and visuals so they could really see what it is, but it was something that they could take with them, and it's life altering. And all of a sudden, what they learned in the past, whether consciously or unconsciously, right, is now shifting. And their relationship with money, because they understand it now better, it's a little bit more comfortable.
Absolutely.
Right, because they're more familiar with the terminology, and there's a lot of that going on.
You're absolutely right. I was joking with I forget the conversation. I was like, if I had the power to, if I was mentoring a group of kids, I would literally let them hold 10,000, like just to see what it feels like, so it can get to a point to where it's normal. Like you said, a lot of people are intimidated by it. So if you're intimidated by it, like it shuts off your valve on having a clear point of view and understanding on it. So it's making it normal, and you're planting those seeds at those early ages, so when they get to the point to where they have to make important decisions financially, it's not an intimidating decision. It's like, hey, I know how to it's clockwork by that point in time. And definitely that's one of the things I also want to talk about when it comes to just business in general, whether it be you being in the financial industry, you being an entrepreneur. What are some of the challenges that you faced?
Well, I think rejection is one of the things that if you're a true entrepreneur, you're going to cold call, and you're going to knock on doors, and you're going to prospect, and you're going to, hustle and bustle, right, all day long. So, there's a lot of no's, right? You get a lot of no's. Not everybody is like, okay, let's open the door. Of course, you can come in and sell me everything, right?
Right.
Like,
come on, what you selling? Let's go. How much was the checkbook?
Right, exactly right. Doesn't work like that, right? In the movies, he might be, but it's not in real life. And so, and then you have ups and downs, right? We all emotional beings, and we all sometimes let ourselves our emotion takes us. And so, I think a constant reminder that every no gets you closer to a yes, that you're doing it for a bigger purpose, that you are learning from every one of those no's, and how would I had handled that different, how would I handle it different for the next time. And you just keep learning, and you keep growing, and you keep seeking out information and mentorship from others.
Absolutely.
And no is not scary when you do it over and over and over again, because the worst thing that could happen is you get no, right? And the fear of it, right, we know fear is false evidence appearing real, is that you gotta say that again. You gotta say that again. They need to hear that. They need to hear that. It's fear is false evidence appearing real.
Absolutely.
So it's it's just a smoke screen.
Yeah.
To let us play smaller, and so we remove that smoke, or we go through it, and then we find out, oh wow, this is huge opportunity for me now.
Right. I mean, it's just like sports. I mean, we lose more than we win. I mean, I played football, so as a corner, a receiver's going to catch the ball on me more than I get an interception. So the moment you understand that, and just understand that, hey, that's just part of the process, you're able to look at it differently. And that's what got me through in sales, is understanding that a lot of people are going to say, no, that's the worst thing. It's not like someone's going to shoot me. So I was like, just get it over.
I don't know. LA.
Get off my lawn. Absolutely. Amanda, what are some of the things that you face?
I think that the lack of planning, sometimes you have to really have a plan, especially going into the business realm. If it be marketing, if it be the structure of the business, you don't want to wing anything.
Right.
And a lot of us sometimes do.
Yeah.
And so I think that my I think God-given gift was building systems. So I have taken from the athletic side of I'm going to figure out how to do this right and make it a system for myself in sports. I've brought that into the business world, and now I build systems and I make sure that everybody's running and efficient and how can we get everything done and always looking how can it be better. Right. And I think that you never think that it's perfect and done. It's always how can we make it better?
Yes.
How can we do it? How can we change it up to make it more efficient? So yeah.
So, as entrepreneurs, what are some of the things that keep you up at night? I know, huh? Yeah.
The neighbor that snores upstairs. Yeah, that's a good one.
I think it's all the ideas. I think this one sitting next to me has more ideas than he can handle at some time.
Yeah, I think running out of time before I can live the legacy that I want to leave for the next generation and for the people, the community around me. I think that's really what keeps me up at night.
Okay. I definitely understand that. What about you?
I think it's getting everything done that we want to get done before the end. You sit there and go, there's only a few things that that are going to happen in life, and unfortunately that's one of them, and we have a lot of things on the plate that we want to accomplish. And it's like got to get there.
I bet 95% of entrepreneurs, that's my fear.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, I didn't get a chance to leave this impact.
Right.
But that's what creates that urgency for us. We got to go do it because we never know. We got to set this up. We have to have it. So at least it lets me know. I feel more secure that I have the right. Absolutely. Yeah. So Adam, I want to talk more about this book. Tell me a little bit. Let's dive in about this book that you have coming out.
So the book is primarily for millennials, but it's really not only for millennials. It's for we call it millennials and beyond. And the title is Raising the Bar. And what it takes the reader through the journey of my adversities and what every adversity taught me and how I was able to turn it into an opportunity, how being homeless taught me how important it is to have a home and to really build something and invest and really not be in that position later, right? And then what the goal is in every chapter is to shift something in a reader's mind in their relationship with money, on how they perceive money, how to demystify some of those, lingos and words that may not seem familiar at this point, how to be strong with the dignity that we have, with the ability to think I can make $1 million a year and really have full conviction about it, right? How to build the infrastructure step by step through every chapter on unlearning the negative lessons about money and relearning or learning new ways to think about quality of life, standard of living, and then do that with humility. So when they are successful, what to do with it, right?
Yeah.
And so it takes them through the mindset. It takes them through true practical financial lessons, how to build efficiencies in their dollar, and how to learn things that most people spend a lifetime not being able to gather all the information. Because today, we have a lot of information out there.
Yeah, but it's getting the right information.
It's getting the right information in one place.
And in this book, it sounds like this is more than just a financial book. This is a life skill book.
Yes.
I mean, because all of that kind of revolves around that. This is a must read. When is it going to drop? What's the date?
So we're designing the cover now. Okay. So we're looking at about 8 to 10 weeks.
Okay.
That we're gonna.
All right.
We're gonna launch.
Well, we got to get behind that. I want my copy.
Of course.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, what other projects are you working on?
So, one of the things that happen when you are in the financial industry, you see people's struggles, you see what they would like to have in their life, you see what impacts them, you see what's the stresses that they're going through. This particular one is near and dear to my heart, is being able to shift the conversation from employers offering benefits to the employees, because that's what traditionally has been offered in the past,
Right.
where this one we kind of flipping the chart, if you will, and we saying, what if we could create a consumer-centric benefits that the employee has the opportunity to say, hey, you know, I may not care so much about my 401k, even though it's important, but right now my first priority is to pay for my student loan
Right.
debt, for
Mhm.
example, or I really want to buy a house in the next 2 to 3 years. My first priority now is to buy a house. I want to go to this vacation in Venice, or I want to go, right? So we created a benefit package that is just that. And it has a lot of tools that we essentially find money for the employee through both employer contribution and then other sources that essentially drive that goal for that individual, and helps them get to their goals much sooner. So it's called Virtue, because we felt that it has to come from a good place.
Absolutely.
and we're very, very excited about it.
I am too. So Amanda, was this one of the things that we were talking about that keeps them up at night? These ideas, these several groundbreaking ideas. Oh my goodness! Yeah, this is amazing. Just the stuff that you're doing for the community, your practice. I mean, I can't wait to see what the future lies. Speaking of the future, like, pick that picture for me. What if we were to sit down 5 years from now? What does that look like, personally, professionally? What does that look like for you?
Well, for me is I will dedicate my whole life is really for mentorship and really teaching the lessons that I've learned through this evolution to other people, and being able to do that, every day. That's really what I'm looking for in 5 years. Building the firm and having that self-sustain and mentoring others to manage firms like that, and then just dedicating my life to helping mentor people about entrepreneurship and about financial education.
Awesome. What about you, Amanda?
I know that's a tough question. It's good. It's good. I think that as I look forward, obviously we have a lot of things on the docket and a few things in the works. And I think seeing those things come to fruition, not being an idea anymore, actually being reality, will be really, really fun to have that be in the works and alive. And I think that, maybe having a family. We have a fur baby.
Yeah.
But maybe having a family and having that route and giving back. I think one thing that I've always been thankful for are people that just devote their lives to giving back. And I would love to, do well so I can give back, and give back not only with my time as we've done for many years, but also give back with money.
Absolutely.
And give back with, connecting people. I think one of my favorite things to do ever is just connect people together.
Yes.
I get so excited when I can connect an organization to an individual or a speaker to this.
And this is what she does.
And this is what I do.
I'm living proof. She does that.
And it's fun for me. And, if I can get to a place where that's just what I get to do. And, by the way, I have a couple businesses. That would be great.
Awesome. Well, listen, let everyone know where they can find you. Your social media, website. What's the handle?
Yeah, so rtbfinancialgroup.com is where they can learn more about what we do on the financial services side. The virtuebenefits.com. We're going to make it public probably in the next 4 weeks.
Okay. We're right on time.
Ladder building, yeah. And then Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, just Adam Barr. You'll probably get some muscle pictures on the internet first.
They got to see the old pics.
Yeah.
By the way, what you said earlier about how horses and muscle come together, and you just gave me a great idea, because it's horsepower
Well,
horsepower.
That's
It's
exactly-
perfect.
yeah.
Right? It's like-
I know that's how we came
Horsepower.
together.
That's
We're
the-
horsepower.
That's the next name of the business.
Exactly.
So the next business is going to go horsepower. Awesome. Well, listen,
TBD.
it was great having you on my show. Like I said, you are always welcome to come back. I got to get you again once the app launches. And once the book comes out, so we can talk about that and do some other things. I consider you guys family, so I'm glad that you were here to not only share your story, but share your knowledge. So for everyone out there listening, this is Jabari K. Smith. You know where to find me, JabariKSmith@gmail.com, Jabari K. Smith at Instagram, Jabari K. Smith Twitter, as well as Facebook. And once again, I want everyone to be positive, be productive. And this is The Professional Athlete. I'm out, y'all. RTB Financial Group and Insurance Service is not a subsidiary or affiliate of Mass Mutual Life Insurance Company or its affiliate companies.